You are mostly singer. You mostly sing.
Alright, so I hope you think about this verse as you study anything that is in your mind, anything that comes in your mind through your eyes, your ears. You need to take heed that you do not get spoiled. I'm going to ask somebody at random here. Let me call her name. Keyon. Where's Keyon? Keyon, are you there? Is Keyon there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. I'm going to
Mine,
ask you
tell
that
us
question.
Hello.
Um, Hello?
Could you repeat the
Hello.
question, please? I was a bit disrupted.
I've not asked the question as yet. You need to pay attention, Keyon. All right. So the question is, if an apple is spoiled or has begun to be spoiled, does the apple know that it is spoiled?
No, not necessarily.
Yeah, mine,
The
tell us.
apple
I'm
won't know that
in
it's
it. Where you
spoiled.
been there?
When you say not necessary, what do you mean?
And not necessarily because I know that you weren't really speaking to in an apple, and that's why I said not necessarily in the first place. But the apple won't know that it's spoiled.
And the apple doesn't know it is spoiled because the apple doesn't know better, right?
Right.
Good. So when a human being is being spoiled, does the human being know that he or she is being spoiled or is spoiled?
Hi.
I'm asking,
Mm-hmm.
if a human being is spoiled, does the human being know that he or she is spoiled? We have lost Keon. Deidre, you have something on your mind that came out of this question?
I would say yes.
Yes, what? Yes to what?
If somebody is spoiled, they know that they're spoiled.
Seriously? Okay, I hear you.
Especially if you're a Christian and you're walking with God, He normally reveals things to you like behaviors and things that you need to change.
Okay. Now, why are you surrounded with things that would spoil you? Why are you so close to things that will spoil you? If you're close to a rotten apple, you will be rotten too. You will get rotten eventually. Nicolette?
Not all the time persons are spoiled and know that they are spoiled. I believe this is why the gospel has been preached to all the world because there are so many cases that persons are spoiled
Miss
and
Campbell, this is
whether
Shadow from
it's
Kenya,
through
East
food
Africa.
that life,
Hello.
has
Hello,
done
Javon.
in their
Hi. How are
life.
you doing? I'm
So
doing well. I'm just here
consequently,
marking a paper,
if
trying to see if I
if
can
the
get it
norm,
done.
say I'm from a particular family and the
Mm,
norm is incestual relation, and that is
okay.
perfectly fine, it is acceptable, unless somebody comes and points out to me that this is wrong, then I'm not going to know unless I go into a different setting and I see that something is off here. Why do I do this and they don't do that and they consider? So then I'll get a different worldview. So not all the
Floor.
time persons know that they are spoiled.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that. Was that Nicolette? Okay, Maurice. Let us hear what your view is and then I will move on.
Okay, just I'm looking at the scripture.
True.
I'm just looking at the
True.
background
False.
while he's speaking here, and they are
True.
believers.
True.
So
False.
maybe I'm
True.
fault
True.
in them being,
True.
from their
I am
we
both.
can say
I'm a teacher,
people
but
who
I'm
grow
a
up in a
student
happy
as well.
or have been born in a shit
So yeah,
or
I'm a teacher, but I'm a student
no, they didn't want
as
you to
well.
from yourself in Christ, whether it's a philosophy, whether it's a behavior, whether it's a tradition, whether it's a
Right.
rudiment or a pattern of thought.
Seriously.
Okay, thank you so much.
Right.
So this even makes it that makes it
Yeah.
even more stern, this verse here, because Paul is speaking to the church, to the believers. How can believers be
So
so
old
blue? We understand Paul
one,
means.
two, three, four,
Um,
two,
I have
one, two,
presented,
three, four,
I
five,
have
six,
asked
seven,
someone,
8,
we
9,
are okay. Are we all okay in terms of,
20,
we say that we have everything that
30,
we need to have, we are okay.
40.
There is nothing wrong with us because we say that we are Seventh Adventists and we are going by what the Lord says and whatever.
Hi.
Do you
20,
think that we are okay? The person
30,
says, yes, there is nothing wrong with us. We are fine. We have what we need to have. We have the message. We have everything.
40.
So we are fine. And I said, if God told you now that you are getting totally out of it, what would you say? Person said, I would argue my point that
Yeah.
I'm wrong, I'm stealing, I'm fine. I'm not committing adultery,
10,
I
11,
don't
12, 13,
steal,
14, 15, 16,
I honor my mother, my father. I do everything that the Lord said to do, so I'm fine.
Comment vas-tu?
But
Ça va
in
bien,
Revelation
merci.
3, verse 17, God is giving an assessment of how we are. And it's astonishing that very few people accept this assessment. You can go there in your own time and read it for yourself. But it's an assessment of what we are if we, for 1 second, come out of the presence of Christ. When we rely on the rudiments of the word, the rudiments of the word are building blocks of the word. This is what the word is built upon. Upon those philosophies, upon those traditions. That is what the word is built on. If that's where our faith is, the word says we are wretched, miserable, poor, blind, and naked. However, we have a lot of persons who believe that they are okay. They are okay, why? Because they have
1, 2, 3, 4,
degree or they have
5, 6,
they have
7, 8.
knowledge or they have riches or whatever. They are fine.
Hello.
Food for thought. Another thing that we are fine always says that we need to constantly go back to the Lord. Constantly have to check ourselves. Okay. I think it's prayer time. Yes. So let us pray.
You.
Heavenly Father, you have created the
1,
world, the universe, and have created every cell that is in our body and everything that exists. We call to you now, asking you in humility to come
2,
into
2,
our class and
1.
teach us the things that we need to learn. Bless the students, bless me as I read and help that we will all hear when you speak so that we align
2.
ourselves to you. For if for 1 second we step out of your presence, we are all of what you said we are, all wretched, So help us, oh God, to never
Hello, welcome.
harbor pride in our hearts.
Hello.
Help us never to think that we are better than anyone. Whatever we have,
5,
help us to always lay those things at your feet
14,
and
15,
humble
16,
ourselves that you will teach us
17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24.
He will teach us what we need to know. In Jesus'
8,
name.
9, 10,
Amen.
19, 21.
Wonderful. Amen. That's right. Yes, yes. Okay. So, a little housekeeping. I'm reminding you to upload all assignments on Theorion. Okay. And keep reading on the topics that we are touching on this class. In this class, that way you will increase your wisdom in how to consume and apply information. Wisdom, that is what we just looked about. Information is out there, but wisdom is important. Just a while ago, I heard in the news that the police is scratching their heads in how to prosecute cybercrime. Yeah, they don't know what to do. And it's becoming more and more difficult to prosecute people who are putting out information that is not true online. It's amazing how difficult and complicated the, 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 the matter of policing has become, especially when it comes to cyber policing. It's really difficult. So, we need to be wise when we read and when we see information that may be
Camera mellow.
There are persons who love to scan the QR
Change
codes
that.
and love to
Thing.
give online
I will eventually, not now though, but soon.
Remember
Hi,
that
Ebenezer.
is raised encoding everything about you. So be careful what you do. And do not do anything for vain glory or for getting money. Be very careful. Alright, so you need wisdom to apply the information that you are reading. It's not all good. It's out there. You should know that it's out there. But you should
Hello,
not
Jose. Welcome.
Okay. You will be getting another break.
Ça va bien? Merci.
Come on the island here. But I do not have the exact date as yet. I thought about it and I
Part
said,
of the
well,
plan
that may
of
be
reproduction.
a good thing to do every now and then, probably twice in during the class or probably 3 times. It depends on the length of the class. But I think I'll give you another break in February. If not in February, I'll give it to you also later than that. If we are still in blood, I don't even remember when this class ended. Okay, yeah. So we'll check that out. Alright, so let's move on. So now I'm going to keep your groups for 15 minutes, and this is what you will be discussing in your groups. So make sure that Simone, who is pushing?
The government is pushing a cashless society.
Mm-hmm.
They keep talking about wanting Jamaica to become a cashless society.
Yes, 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 yes. Hey, that is very interesting, people. It's no joke. Ha, no joke. Yeah. Is it Deja? Deja, you have your hand up?
Yes, miss. On the, I think, timetable that they gave to us, they said that the talk should end February 13th because we have another time.
That's what it
All
says.
right.
But because we
I am
started,
hearing you. I'm saying
but because
I'm hearing. Go ahead.
no, I was saying it's 6 weeks, but because we started a week later, we would have gotten that before because it said that we would have started the 8th, but we didn't. We started the 12th. So based on my checks, it would have been that our last class should be the end of the month, the week of the 24th.
Yes, it can be the 16th. It's not the 13th. It's not possible. All right. So we'll check that out. That's not a big deal. All right. So I'm opening the room now. So you have a
Hmm.
screenshot or a picture of the what you need to discuss in your group, and you have 15 minutes to do so and join your group as quickly as you can because I will start the timer as soon as the last person has joined. All right, please join now.
Hey, yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Not complain. Some things you can't change, but yeah, I'm grateful. You experiencing the cold that side, like we are on this side.
In Kingston,
The Kingston doesn't get cold.
cold,
5,
but
7,
It's bearable.
I can imagine
5,
what it feels like
6, 7, 8, 9,
managing this
10,
side going
12,
back.
13,
Yeah,
14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19,
but I heard the sun's out
20.
right here on campus. So it's pretty cool. All right, so who are we waiting on? Amika?
Mika and
And Amika Abigail is here. All right, so you just you put it in the group.
yeah.
Okay. What does it say again? What does the Bible say about man?
Genesis and Jenny. No, this is for behavior.
How she just confirm? No, I have not finished as yet.
First of all, what is genetic? And eugenics.
What is it? Oh,
We have to define those first.
so genetics is the study of the genes and heredity, things that make up your DNA. Yeah.
All right, and eugenics.
Check.
those words can go inside there. How many words you all have? 50 yet?
Some weeks after this, so I have to go back to the thing to make a note of it. The study of how to arrange reproduction within human population. How do you arrange reproduction within that human population?
Yeah, that sounds like
manipulation.
yeah, that's
right. Yeah.
biogenic. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
So it's like the study of what?
Study of how to arrange reproduction within a population. And it is to increase the characteristics that are desirable. So, for example, you know that this president has certain, what do you call it, a certain type of DNA, and you want to reproduce that, so that's what you get. So you basically manipulate to get what you want.
You're manipulating the gene.
Yeah.
Okay, what does the Bible? First of all, I would say for oh yes, Abby.
No, that was Kian.
Just saying I just joined. Just up back on.
Keon, are you in group 1, Keon?
No, it's room 3 that I chose. So I don't understand this.
Wrong group.
Yeah, but this is group 1 there.
From in Grad. Good.
Okay, so then, for genetics, I would go from creation. Number 1, it was God who formed us in His image, and it was God who gave man and woman the ability not to create but to procreate. As He said, I think that's in his, 2 verse 18. We could look that up, so I could think it from that aspect of it. What do you think?
I've heard much discussion on this, but I suspect that manipulation of genes, that's not natural. That's not of God.
Okay, all right. So then we see where then that can be used to do what? To go against God's plan for the human race. If it is to be used to come up with just, let's say, a specific race or to get rid of certain race, because I'm thinking when you said that, do you remember? Well, I shouldn't even ask if you remember. We were around it when Hitler wanted to get a pure race in us. Because you know that is how World War II began. Hitler wanted to get a pure German race. And so I do not know if the scientists were manipulating the genes then, and he wanted all of them to have straight nose and I don't know if you guys ever read about that, but that was his intention, you know, to get a pure German race to populate the whole world. So I would look at that as yes, um, eugenics, where they are engineering, bioengineering. They are engineering the genes to produce a certain, I don't even want to use the word species, but that is basically what is happening. Now, but God does not endorse that. But now, do I have a text to say, here's that?
Mm.
Well, I think throughout the Bible, not no specific verse, but he is the creator. So if somebody is doing something else, they are going against the will of God. If you're trying to
Mm.
create perfection,
Mm.
because I believe that is
13.
that's the aim of those times, right? To try
20.
and ensure that certain diseases are not passed on, certain undesirable features are not passed on, right? So they're trying to create perfection, but we know we don't live in a perfect world, and that's impossible. So,
And sin, number one, has, would we say sin has altered the man's DNA somewhat? Right? I'm just trying to think how sin changes our thought process, the way how we behave. When Adam and Eve were created, they were in a perfect environment. But we see because of the result of sin, what happened? Death came, and death didn't come only to man. The trees also start to die. The um the different times and seasons, the different seasons that we have become unbearable, because it's because of sin why these things happen. So it did not only change the um, makeup of the man, so to speak, it also did for the creation. What do you think about that?
agree that God made us in His image.
Yes,
It's
and
like
he gave right, and he gave us, so from the genetic standpoint, and he gave us the ability, as he says, he gave us the ability to um, procreate. And in fact, it's the same thing with all the animals. A male and a female created Eden. You see? So that is the God-given mandate to animals as well as man, you see, to procreate and replenish. So now if we are going to go on the side of eugenics to say no, we can alter the race,
See you
or we
tomorrow,
can
Shadrach.
produce a race which is more superior, then that is not godly. That is not godlike. Are we able to alter what God has put forward? Can we?
we shouldn't be able to. We shouldn't attempt to.
Abigail, I'm not hearing you. What you saying?
Well, boy, this thing kind of tripped me up because I don't know from what angle I should tackle it from. But I guess knowing about genetics and eugenetics, manipulation, etc. Um, how should I put this? Let me just talk. I guess one should not try and alter natural creation or God's creation for their benefit. For their benefit, sorry, I see a lot of people they're doing manipulation of DNA and genes to get a favorable child which have certain characteristics, etc. So that should not be the case. From a teacher's perspective, I guess a teacher shouldn't how should I put it now? I don't know if this even makes sense, but we bias towards student based on their parental background, or you assume that a child you would label or exclude a child from certain, I don't know, you would label or exclude a child based on their family history, or say a family would have mental illness or family is naturally brilliant, whatever. I don't know. So not to create any bias and not to play God. I don't know if what I'm saying even makes sense, but that's what I'm getting from it.
I mean, I'm hearing what you I'm hearing what you're saying, and that's true. If we're trying to do that, we're actually trying to play God. You know. Nevertheless, there's the flip side to that in some studies, because they're saying that um, the study of these things, or maybe the fetal development as it grows, then you can see, or you can detect, or you can predict that, okay, this child is going to be this type, or I don't want this child to be this type, so then I will not allow this child to come into being. I will terminate this pregnancy. And you would have made that decision based on the fact that
One,
you
two, three, four, five, six,
study the
seven, eight,
progression of
nine, ten,
genes and
eleven, twelve,
what
thirteen,
the outcome would be,
14.
because you know what the outcome would be, but that's what the science is not
14,
saying.
Yeah, for example, the
15,
certain
16, 17,
strains
18,
like
19,
sickle cell
20,
traits, I
21,
mean,
22, 23, 24,
traits
25,
like
26,
sickle
27,
cell,
28, 29,
like
30, 31.
other traits that can pass on, they're able to see maybe, it influence their decision. So they may argue. So the argument is going to be that they're doing it for good, for the greater good, or to save a life. Does that make it okay in that case? So they want to do it because they want to say eradicate cancer. Does that make it okay?
I don't know. Um, I mean, I see where you're coming from. Um, I guess if it is to get a more healthy society, I don't even know if I'm saying the right thing.
It is,
Right now,
tricky. Super slow.
yes. I don't know if the ends justify the means. Yes, it sure was a hard one this time. But we could just approach everything with the Bible, because I think that's what the thing says. What does the Bible say about it, right?
Mhm.
Um, now, I'm not so sure if the Bible says anything about the eugenics.
I've been searching and I don't see anything specific. The data is saying that at the time, these things were
Three,
not.
6 of
Like
five.
manipulating
Yeah, 6
genes
of
as
five,
yet,
13,
did not
that's
gene
true.
coding and so. So there isn't anything there in the Bible because at that time it was not being practiced. That's what it said. I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't know of it being there.
time.
it is
14.
sin proliferates the world more. That
1, 2,
but back
3,
in the day, man used to
4,
live
5, 6, 7, 8,
hundreds of
9,
years.
10, 11, 12,
But for each
13, 14,
successive
15, 16,
generation, you
18,
realize they're
19,
living
20,
less
21,
and less and less.
26.
So I don't know if at that time there was any need for it to be studied. I have no clue. But I do know that the manipulation of the genes, I don't think it is of God. As Abigail says, we should not be playing God. See, we should not be playing God any at all. But it is left for good study. Did not Daniel say, even though the Lord told him to smoke at the time of his life, because many shall run who and from knowledge shall increase. It only means knowledge is understanding the prophecies of the Bible, or it means knowledge is how we acquire information and use it. What do you think it means? Knowledge shall increase.
Can be twofold.
So we are, well, that's all right. So we are asking them that this is the standard I'm going to take that we were made, first of all, in the image of God. So God has already placed His DNA inside of us, a male and a female, and then God has given us the ability to procreate and to create. Only God alone can create, but to procreate, God told us to multiply and replenish. And so when we now are trying to manipulate the genes to get a desired outcome, then we are we're playing God, and
One,
that is not right.
5, 6, 7.
Yes, even though yes, we know that knowledge shall increase,
13, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,
but
10, 11,
it is
13,
not
14,
right to get a race or get a desired outcome from a
24,
manipulation of the gene whether or not this is better than God's creation. All right. Anything coming up? So we have what? A minute
Less
before
than.
we go back
hopefully we
inside.
don't go first this time, and as like
No,
persons.
no, I don't mind going first. I honestly don't mind going first.
And be prepared because she may ask, not just
Anyone,
ask
right?
any one of us.
Right. It may not be me this time, but
Yeah.
anyone, and then I'd be willing to, if I left off something, um, jump in
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
say something. But that is how it's going to go for this season. All right. Did you guys do your position paper?
I did.
What's the put? Yeah.
You uploaded it last night.
Recording in progress.
Hi. Are you Jamaican? Yes, I am.
So we start in group 10. All right. Evening. Yes. Oh, it's lesson
good when they see us sincerely. We are made in His image. To this end, as teachers, we should also treat our students like that. We will not want to look down on our students because of maybe certain disabilities, and we will not also want to be comparing them. Can't you see what a so person is doing? You know, in a situation like that, the child will feel demoralized, will not really want to associate freely, even if when the child has something to say, will not want to say it because you have dampened the spirit of that child. Romans chapter 5, verse 12 tells us that through one man we inherited sin. So nobody is perfect. We should not claim superiority because now we are teachers. How were we when we were like these students? Were we that brilliant? So when we place ourselves in the positions of our students, we will know how to treat them. And when we do this, God Himself will be happy with us. Because even when we were sinners, He sent Christ to die for us. That's the extent I can go.
Thank you so much. So group 9, if you have nothing to add, you can pass and you can say so. If you have something to add, please go ahead. Group 9. Okay, there is no group 9. So group 8.
Sorry, good night. Basically what Blessing shared.
Is this group 9?
Yes, it is something like that.
Okay, please go ahead.
You shared the same sentence as Blessing did, so I don't think you have anything to add to that. So you want to
Group 8? Group 8? No one in group 8? Group 7?
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. So the text that we looked at was Galatians 3, 28. There's neither Jew nor Greek, slave nor free, male nor female, for you are all one in Christ. So we were basically discussing that as
I
educators and
live
as
in
pastors and teachers
Jamaica
and
as of
doing
now.
everything for the glory of God, we should see students as one and not segment them, but just treat them as we would treat the rest of the student in terms of not putting them, not putting some before the other. Yes, we have to understand that some persons are different, so we have to develop different teaching strategies, but to be fair with each person.
All right. Thank you so much. Was that group 8?
Yes.
Okay, group 7, please.
Okay, good evening again. So, from group 7 here. So the
3
focus
and 6
has
of
been from the
3.
previous groups who were talking about genetics, from the perspective of genetics. But the when it comes to eugenics, eugenics is speaking about quote unquote improving the human genetics pool.
5,
So
6,
so
7,
right
8,
now
9,
there, I
10,
don't know
11,
how
12, 13,
advanced they
14,
are in
15,
terms of modifying the
16, 17,
genetics. Say, for
18,
example,
19,
a
20,
child, you want to
21,
change a
22,
child's
23,
eye
24, 25,
color
26.
or complexion, or as the elderly, if you right now, I think in Canada you have the option of assisted suicide, them, requesting suicide to remove, okay, because you're old, you don't have much contribution from a human perspective, you don't have any much contribution to the human race anymore, so we can remove you from the genetic pool right now. So that's where genetics, the belief of genetics, eugenics, sorry, eugenics. However, there's a scripture that's in
You are
John 9, verse
beautiful.
23,
Guys,
where
That's one set of papers that I'm through marking.
And the question was asked to Jesus, was this man born blind
Um,
because of sin, whether it is his sin or his parents' sin? And
uh,
Jesus' response was that this
88,
happened, that Jesus allowed him to be
278,
born blind
and
so
then
that the works of
65,
God might be displayed in him. So
65,
God's glory can God can be glorified from people who we believe have some genetic fault, whether they are blind or they have some type of retardation. Jesus treated them with value. Right, so we should have the same mindset in the classroom, whether
Hi.
it's towards other students or even towards our colleagues or fellow faculty members, that we should treat all humans with value and recognize that in whatever developmental stage or whatever infirmity that they have, that God allowed them to be born for a purpose. Once you are born
No,
on
chumi
this
they are
earth, there
use it
is
cleaning
purpose
bathroom, so some did
on your
left.
life. So we need to
It smells
recognize
sweet.
that
I will leave a
purpose is
disinfectant.
there and
Put up the
treat
bag.
them accordingly.
Thank you so much. Group
So you
6.
put down easy. You can keep on my tonight.
Hmm?
Do we have group 6?
Me?
Your
Hmm?
group
You can
6?
keep on my tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Group
Yes,
5?
miss.
Oh, alright. Go ahead.
I'd like to pass because everything I've gathered so far
Oh, auntie.
has been covered.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
Group
so
5?
maybe I put that easy.
Hi, good evening, everyone. So,
Yes.
so basically, what my group had discussed, we were doing some research and we saw that even though the Bible does not directly mention about routines, um, and I'm guessing that it's because it's more of a modern term, like more of a modern practice. Um, Based on what the Bible says, one particular verse on the Bible saying that we're fearfully and wonderfully made, just that highlights that anything to do with religion God is against that. God has created each of us to be very unique in our own ways. And I think as teachers, it's important to understand that. I think we tend to hold our students at very high standards a lot of the times. And not each student is going to perform the exact same way as his peers. And I think we as teachers need to understand that just because someone is not performing as how we would want them to do in work, that it doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with them or that they're not trying to perform. It could just be that, okay, this is not their forte. However, that next class is right, they come up to this that is not, my learning. So I think we as teachers need to understand that and kind of meet the students where they are. Some of them don't have that interest in some particular subjects and they make it the best effort that they can. And I think sometimes we have to understand that because the truth is, we as teachers, we go to the exact same thing. We don't want to be in every single class. We don't want to be in every single space. We don't want to be in every single meeting. However, I think what it comes down to is, are they making an effort to, try and at least, something.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much. Was it group 5, group 4?
Nice. Okay,
Yes.
so me, Psalm 139 talk about we are fearfully and wonderfully made in the sight of God. And Eugene is really looking at the altering how God has created us. And even the scripture it talks about even before we were a thought, right before our parents knew
Mm-hmm.
us, we were formed in the womb. So he knew what we were going to become. And as teachers, I remember I was teaching a character development class Monday, and there was a little girl in there with what you call it, like a little look, was, as you would say, a little deformed. And we're talking about including different persons of different race, how they look, and a little girl was saying, like you, and started laughing. And as teachers, we have to use every moment as a teaching moment.
Yes.
I use that moment to let them know about that.
classmated, all of us, and he knew what we were going to become. We knew what we were going to come out in the womb, and he had a plan and a purpose for all of us. And I want to
Hello guys,
share with
I'm
them about
busy in
the
class
this
marking
I don't know
papers.
his
I'm
name
trying to
right
get
now,
through
but
to
he is
three
now a
get through three
world-renowned
papers
speaker. We
today.
had having just a little finger parts, and he just had
Yeah,
toes, and
so
he's
that's what
married
I'm
with two
trying to
children, and
do.
everybody is seeking after him for him to speak. And when I said that, the kids were really busy. Oh yes,
How much?
exactly. Thank you.
Oh,
And they were like, really,
me
me?
get some.
I said, yes. We all have a purpose,
January, me at
and
28,
regardless of what the
29,
person
30
looks
term.
like,
Me get
that
5.
God has a purpose. And the little girl
Good
and her face
evening.
lighted up, you know, when we mentioned this. That teacher is what we use every moment, a teaching moment to teach our kids that we need to accept ourselves for who we are, because God, the God who created the entire universe, knew us even before we were formed in the womb. No matter what we came out, and even though it may not fit society, he has a plan for us.
All right, thank you so much.
Yes,
Group
I would
name?
like to. I'm sorry, miss. Sorry for interjecting like that, but I just want. I'm a part of group force. I just want to add something.
Okay.
If just want to point you to Matthew 25, verse 40. It says, "Verily I say unto you, inasmuch as ye have done it unto one of the least of these, my brethren, ye have done it unto me." So this scriptures points to, as I think it was group member from group 6 made mention of individual or children who would have been, we would call in Jamaica deformed.
Uh-huh.
Um, we tend at the time people tend to treat them differently. They're pushed to the side. They're not given the same level of acknowledgement as someone who have who would have been
Yes.
with. So Christ is simply saying to us that as individuals, and we can point it to us as educators, that we cannot segregate when it comes on to somebody with who's not born normal as everyone else, because we just feel that we hand them a lot of restrictions. They're not able to, because they don't born with all 10 you
Yes,
know
yes, yes.
we have to be careful as to how we treat them, and that is why Christ is speaking to us in general where that is concerned.
Yes. All right, thank you for having for speaking. Is it group 3 now? Hello? Yes. Do you have anything to
Thank
add?
you. It's up in a bun tonight because
Okay.
We have gone through the definition
serious times.
modification of the
Serious
original
times,
form
serious times.
of the just an idea for eugenics is we look at some dangers of this kind of ideology in terms of population control. Possibly Planned Parenthood and abortion came through that idea of trying to
Hmm?
control a certain ethnicity.
Miss
We can
him.
also look at the dangers in World War II, when Adolf Hitler and Nazi Germany, in their attempt to build the superior race, created one of the major atrocities against 3 million Jews.
But
We can
what does
also,
the Bible say, though? What does the
yeah.
Bible say? That's your
All right. So
question.
we have gone through most of the scriptures, fearful and wonderfully made, and then the scripture in Genesis. Then I just playing on Genesis there, the variety of Gene. Um,
Right.
Genesis 1 verse 26, the image of God. Here is a dynamite scripture from Acts 17:26, that God has made from one blood all nations of men, for to dwell on all the face of the earth, and determine their times of habitation and the times that they should live. So we see that based on the scripture, all blood, all gene came from one blood, right? And we know this on one blood. And so the, of course, application is that there should be no partiality, no biases in the classroom, no racial discrimination, and dehumanization of children. We should treat all children as equal and attend to them and empower each child despite of race, color, ethnicity, ability, or disability. And finally, we looked at a caveat called natural eugenics to historical experiences, looking at the African diaspora,
too.
All right.
So
What is?
our group, in speaking about the genealogy aspect, we looked at the genealogy of Jesus Christ. So Matthew chapter 1 basically broke down the genealogy of Christ as coming from being the son of Abraham, son of David, and the lineage in between was basically what we would call some imperfect people. So this lineage had murderers, adulterers, all different type of people that would be undesirable, but God used this lineage to bring forth Jesus Christ. So the complexity of the genealogy of Jesus Christ is explained, and if God can use that lineage to bring forth Jesus Christ, then a child from a man serving a life sentence is no less of a person. We also looked at Galatians. I think another group looked at it. So I'm just going to give the main point that we came up with. So in this letter to the Galatians, Paul was not saying that distinctions don't exist among people. But he said that in spite of our human differences, we are all unified because we're one in Christ. So no one is superior to anyone else before God. We are all equal in our relationship with Him through Jesus Christ. For eugenics now, as my colleague said before, this is a new thing. And when I think about it, if this was important to God, He could have done that with the lineage of Jesus Christ coming from Abraham to David to Jesus. He could have made that lineage so pure, but He didn't. So a child in our class who is his parents are murderers or rapists or whatever is no less of a child than someone who is a politician's son or a rich person's son. And we must stop the segregation, because if God were to segregate some of we, I don't know where we would be. So, yes.
Right. Thank you, Alexia. Group one, do you have anything to add?
Yes, just just three simple points. Three simple points. While I endorse, this is group one, and we endorse what everybody has said so far. Um, I just want us to remember that yes, we were made in God's image. We cannot create, but God has given us the ability to procreate because He has placed that inside of us. Okay? Yes, sometimes because of imbalance in the gene or chemical imbalance, we may have a deformity or difficulty somewhat, but God is the one who has given us that ability just the same to do such. And secondly, Matthew chapter 18 and verse 6, dealing with us in the classroom with the children. This verse says, if anyone calls one of these little ones, those who believe in me, to stumble. Shall I finish? Shall I finish it?
That's right.
Lord said it would have been better for them to have a large stone hung around their neck
Oh boy.
and be drowned into the
Hello,
depths
I
of the
am
sea.
okay. Of
I
eight
read,
sets of papers to
You were
I
mark, I
read
sorry.
am
my
through
kids.
with one, which leaves me with seven. So we're
Okay.
slowly
Now
getting
he has
there.
rested his case. Now listen, people. This is no joke. Sometimes teachers behave as if they have it all together. One thing I will say here is that we are all disabled. All of us have something wrong with us. All of us. There is not one of us who doesn't have something wrong with us. But we find a way to hide it or mask it or, rub it or shine it or dress it or whatever it is we do to it so that no one knows. But we all have something wrong. So we have to be compassionate. God does not endorse our behavior sometimes. Some people are here to show us up. Some people are here to show us up, show us our heart, because sometimes we think we don't have any defect in our limbs. We don't have, you have nice hair and a nice face and everything,
Hi.
but what is wrong with our heart?
Mm, I
I think
just,
that is
I'm
life.
gonna put it now.
Oshin,
I'm just tired.
all right, so
But
then we'll
not
put
as
this.
tired as
Sunny, can
yesterday.
you hear
Last
me
night I got
clearly?
8 hours sleep on
I'm hearing you
accident. Got
clearly.
me
Go ahead.
oversleep, sleep past my
All right.
alarm.
Just a short
But
point. Actually,
we're
this
getting
word of
there.
this term eugenics, as somebody mentioned, it's probably a new thing. And I actually heard about it first time last year. That's when I was introduced to the term. But I'm not sure if persons know this brand American. Yes, persons know the brand American Eagle. They had an ad last year, I believe, and they basically played on the word jeans, saying my jeans are blue. So they're like a jeans. They sell denim, so like jeans, jacket, etc. So I think that's one of
Yes.
the way eugenics is pushed in media, saying so she was
Yes.
basically saying my jeans are blue, talking about like her eye color. So
Yes.
there
Yes.
was
Yes.
like this
Yes.
big discussion on social media of what it means and stuff like that. So I think that's one way in which the media or brands push
Or pushing these
racism.
things.
Yeah, so she's like,
Yes.
my jeans are blue. Okay, she's talking about her eyes, but the jeans is for everybody. So what's so
Yeah. Yeah.
good about your blue eyes compared to somebody who has brown eyes, etc. So yeah, I think that's one of the ways that it's pushed in media.
Okay. Wow. So there is a lot to unpack here. There is so much. Thank you, Oshin, for sharing this little piece here. You see how the media is hiding their propaganda against certain groups. It's so interesting. But please don't forget what I just said. There is something wrong with all of us, and if we don't see it in the mirror, it is inside of us, it's inside our heart. Something is wrong with our heart. And so I want us to think about this, read a little bit more about eugenics and how it is actually happening in the world. It is happening. It has happened. It has been happening on a big scale. That is why so many persons have hormonal imbalance and they get sick because of the things that they have put in their body that they were told that would be best for them, so that they could go and fornicate without the problem of being pregnant. But then there is something that happens, in your body when you put all of those hormones in your body, all of those things. You can go and read a little more about eugenics, and but it has shaped education. Eugenics have shaped education in a marked way, as it has shaped life. It has shaped education, and you can see how it has affected life, or you can see the screen, right? How did it affect? How has it affected
Hi.
education?
How was your day?
I hope you are taking note of what is there. It's important for you to know this, that intelligence testing and sorting out students is coming straight from the eugenics philosophy. School tracking and segregation, curriculum and gender roles, stats textbooks, and pedagogy keys. Right. So education is directly affected by eugenics. Some persons have feel that they are better than others for some reasons. For some reason, some of us feel that we are better than others. So you may have a teacher in the class that looks down on the students because he or she feels that I am better than you. I know much more than you. I am better than you in some way. And it's not true. It's not true. On this earth, we are all on the same globe, at the same level. Every one of us. The devil is lying to us all the time to make us feel that, we're better than others. But it's not true. It doesn't matter how many letters you have in front of your name or after your name or wherever you want to put them. It doesn't matter.
I'm
But
doing okay,
somebody
guys. How are
needs
you?
that alone because you have come with a
Control
lot.
meeting.
Okay, so I will leave that alone. But just showing you the slides so that you have an idea of what else you may not have come with, come up with. Okay, because I really did not give you a lot of time. Okay, so educational psychology, principles of teaching and learning. How do people learn? What is happening? How do you um, manage a classroom full of children who, for some reason, are all the same age in front of you? Some classrooms have 45. I'm sure some people online have seen classrooms with more than 45 students, all of the same age. I'm throwing the question at you
Not
now.
yet.
What do you think is wrong with that? Or do you think there is something wrong with that? The question is yours. Think about it first, and then we will discuss it. I'll give you 2 minutes. I won't send you to groups to discuss it. Just think about it, and then I will take your hands. What is wrong with having a classroom full of the students who are at the same age? What is wrong with that picture, with that idea? Think about it. Or is there something wrong with it? Or what is right with it? Okay. As soon as you have an idea, put up your hand. I will recognize it. You got any idea? Okay. Let me take hands now. Let me see who is there. Um,
To
okay, I'm not seeing any hands.
cultural.
Anybody will like to respond? Okay, Simone, go ahead.
Describe two agricultural techniques that are integrated
Okay,
pest
so
management and outline what
it's kind of
advantage each has.
difficult to imagine because we're that's pretty
Because
much
what?
what I you know I was saying it's kind of difficult to imagine because that's really what we know like being placed in a classroom where not necessarily the same pinpoint single age but a same age range or narrow age range
Yes, same age range.
classroom.
Yeah.
Yes. So I think one of the setbacks to that is you don't have within that classroom, if you have like children who are or students who are older than you, much older than you outside of that narrow range, or either older or younger. So with the older ones, they might help to motivate you, or to be a role model for you inside the class, and for if you're in the presence of younger age range, then I think you can learn to think about others. So the whole aspect of like selfish learning, that you're focusing on just you and your learning. But if you have other younger children that are there, or younger students that are there, then you might be able to develop the character of helping others to understand certain concepts, or if the teacher is unable to reach that younger age group, because you were at that younger age group, you know how to identify with them. So maybe that dynamics is lost from the current situation in our the current
Okay.
way our classrooms are.
Mm-hmm.
Just want to say one thing, just a little detour message. Doc. Stephanie is said that she sent you a private message, so just draw your attention to that.
Okay, thank you. Rajani, go ahead.
Good night. Are you hearing me?
Yes, yes, I'm hearing you.
All right. Well, I'm gonna focus on the part where you have 40 or more. When you have a large number of students in the classroom, each student, um, in order for learning to effectively take place as best as
You tell
possible,
me the
each student will
question, then I
require
answer for that
their own
paper, a
individual
lecture. Okay. So
attention because they have to
question:
be able to attend to each student.
describe
They have to
two
be able to
agricultural techniques
you have
other
to
than
analyze the
integrated pest management
individual
and
personality in the
outline
class
one
to
advantage that
tailor the
each technique
students
provides to agriculture.
to suit each of the students need. And then the larger the number is, the harder it becomes to do something like that. And the evaluating the students becomes a bit difficult in terms of, or it becomes more time consuming to plan activities for each of the students based on how it is that you're gonna evaluate how they are learning. Also, in terms of just controlling the classroom itself, it becomes even more difficult the greater the number of students is. I think I'm not sure if it's an official thing, but I think ideally, I think I heard that the ideal thing is to have is it about 10 students to teacher ratio or something like that. Yeah, but I think I heard that is a number where if you go when it goes beyond that number now things start to get a little bit more difficult where students aren't able to get sufficient time, sufficient time, the teacher isn't able to spend
My
sufficient
day was
time
pretty chill, not gonna
working with the
lie.
students to
It's a pretty
really
chill day.
meet each of their
I
individual
genuinely
needs.
have no complaints. It was cold though because we experienced a cold front in
Is there anything
Jamaica.
else you would like to add? Anything?
So that was the only kind of downside.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you for those who have said it. I am not rushing because I know that this is something that we have known for. So the question is it right? That's all. I saw Alexia's hand.
Yes, Miss, I have my hand open. So I am not in the classroom, but I am thinking along the line of having say 40 students, 40 10-year-olds in your class. Would it result oftentimes in you, how should I say this? All right, say you have you have 10 of them who are performing at what you would deem at a high standard, and then the others are lagging behind. Would it cause sometimes like others to be left behind, or for you to be comparing them to the ones who are performing as you would want? Does it lend the chance of comparing them then, and not giving the others who probably need differentiated methods to strive when you have all of them being the same age? But then again, what other way can it work?
2, 4, 6,
You're not the same age.
8,
I don't know, Miss.
10, 12, 15,
I'm sorry, I was muted.
4, 6, 8,
Um, I am hearing you,
9.
but that's what I'm asking you to think about. What? How does it? Why is it? How is it supposed to work? Does this work? What is wrong with it, or what is right with it? I'm hearing a lot of perspectives, but you probably never thought of it.
Miss, I think it's fair for the educators to answer that one.
Okay, all right.
The classroom
Let's
right
hear.
now. I would love to hear from them.
All right. Let's hear from Jordy. Jordy, and then we take the others. Go ahead, Keith.
Yes, mate. Okay, so I agree with you, and it's not, first of all, it's not right because if you have 40 students with same class teacher with one teacher, right? It's a challenge on that teacher because even though they're the same age, they learn at different pace, they understand differently. So you have to tailor your lesson plan to deal with them differently. It's a lot of stress on one teacher. So it's not right. Teachers should have an assistant, and the class should be broken up based on where they're at. That's, that is how I would view it as a teacher. So it just lends for the teacher to stretch herself even more.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you, Joyce. From all you, what you have to add to this?
Alright, cool. Speaking again. So,
Yes.
I remember last term, I started to feel overwhelmed with the lack of participation. And I didn't really understand why I was feeling overwhelmed. And maybe it's something I was thinking more because I was looking at the amount of students that I have, right? So overall, I have a total of maybe 300 and right, when I combine all my classes. And each class
Alati festival and chicken.
serves a small task,
Hello.
like on average.
Yes.
And I find that it becomes difficult to acknowledge so everyone, especially when you have more people, right? I tend to only pay attention to those who are struggling or those who maybe they're trying to complete certain tasks. And I'll tend to like even today I was in class and alongside I was in a particular class and I told him say that like switch over the class because I'm like we're not in this class. He's like I'm in this class. I'm like since when? He's like since September. I was like my class is like basically the class and I was there just because of that I need to know this thing and I know the classes that one after the other that even someone being in my class in September, not I didn't have the entire year or anything, I did not go to school. They're still in the class. So there's so many students and you'll find that, you have both of those people, right? You have students who you always go to class, you know what you talk, but you don't want that interact with you. You have people like I was the same too. I did not have those interactions like that. And understandably, teachers didn't have as well because I'm not talking to you and a whole lot of us, you're gonna get different things. And I think what upset me was you have all these students who they want someone to talk to because they have other things dealing with, they have issues at school, issues with principals and sometimes they can't speak to the principal and the principal knows more about what to say. A lot of the time people go to tell the principal kind of laugh or ignore them because they don't know what to say. So you know as an adult, you kind of have a more level headed, you kind of speak to them more intellectually and they appreciate that support. But a lot of those students, unfortunately, I'm not seeing them because
Hi.
I can't find the energy to
I kind of focus on marking the papers now, so my brain not really here.
I don't like just
All right, Value. I hear your frustration. Okay. The others, do you have anything else to add to this? Because I think we have said the same thing. Brianna, tell me what you have on your mind. If you have something different to say.
A bit different because I'm not a
Yes.
teacher.
classroom, because remember, we would have learned that the children are at different stages of their development. They're all searching for different things, they have different needs. If they're all of the same group, they're all searching. However, if you have a mix within the class, then the other children can support. They learn from what they see, right? They can emulate certain good behaviors because they have someone else that they can look to. So I believe that having a classroom with different ages can help. It supports the teacher because there are children there that would have gone through the stage already and would have mastered it, and so they're in another stage and they can support another child. So that I think it can work because in life we're all of different age group and we have to live, we coexist. So it
That's
should
it.
be no different.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much for sharing this, Natalie O'Neill. And then after that, I will stop taking hands for this. Natalie, go
Okay.
ahead, please.
Yeah.
Hello,
O'Neill, I'm not going to
Anthony.
say too much because I think you
Um,
may add to what I'm saying.
welcome.
But
I feel a Jamaican, but
based on my
I
previous
don't.
job, we have young
welcome.
students
Um,
that are teenagers that are coming to the university to do their associate degree. And what we try to do is not to mix them, but to keep them together
different
based on the fact of,
personal
they could work with each other
um
because they're same age group. However, when we put an adult among these groups, the adults are not able to survive because they say there's too much distraction in the class and they can't cope. Some and if it was the reverse, some of these students who may fail a course and we put them to the put them with adult learners, they tend to do a bit better. Not all the time. Sometimes they are intimidated because of the adults, the more mature students, and some of them um, don't like that type of environment. So it depends altogether on the mindset of each individual. It can work based on monitoring these students, but I don't think there's a hard and fast way to say if it is right or wrong. I think it lends itself to each student able to
love you
each of the
more.
students able to work within themselves, and no matter how large the class is, they're able, because large classes don't mean that the persons are going to be left hanging. It all depends upon the teacher with each large class because it works.
Hello
I've been through
from
the system where
Mozambique.
large classes work, and when you do large classes, you have to do a lot of group discussion and collaborative discussion amongst the students. And small groups,
Okay.
yeah. So it works depending on the situation. That's
All right.
my point.
Okay. All right. Thank you, O'Neill. Armando, please.
I'll agree with Natalie on what she does said because I'm operating within that same environment as well. And again, it's all about managing groups, dynamics, and so on. But I'd like to add that um, I really don't think it's a matter of the class being large or small. I think it's about the ability of the teacher to identify those who are disengaged. Because you could, let's say, do an assessment by disposition. That's like the first thing to see their attitude towards learning. And then you can group those who are similar in the same class with the same kind of skill set, mindset, or the same stage of development. And you allow them to develop their skill sets. And then you can give particular attention to those who you think are at risk, rather than just carrying on a class with the 10 students to answer your questions
Hi,
and so
I'm
on. And
okay.
then I think it's about managing like this once you have the proper
Okay.
tools.
All right. Thank you, all of you who have tried to answer that question. Remember that my question was about teaching children, not adults. I was talking about children. And my question was about how is it right to have a large class of children? Let's say primary school children. Let's go to primary school, okay? Although in high school it's a problem as well. But let us go to primary school. That's what my question was. All right? There is a problem with having a large class of children of the same age interval. There's a problem for the students, no? A lot of you have spoken about the teacher. Yes, there is a problem for the teacher, but there is a problem for the students. I think the first or second person who responded to this question mentioned that the students are not stretched out at all with the people who are around them. They are all at the same level, give and take. They cannot help each other in terms of values, in terms of morals, in terms of knowledge, in terms of understanding. They cannot help each other. Everybody is looking to the teacher to move up, and that is not a good thing. The students should be in a multi-grade where there are younger students who are looking up to older students. When the older students are asking their questions, they are listening in. They probably can't participate as yet, but their curiosity is open, and so on and so forth. So there is a problem with having a large class of the same age group. You probably did not think about it earlier, but there is a problem. Okay, so that was just the question I wanted to tease your mind with. You need to remember that it is not always a good thing to have them together. All right, so now I am going to screen in front of my. Okay, so the educational psychology is the study
What is
of
the total
human
sugar
learning,
production?
and in this kind of study, you focus on how people keep knowledge in their brains, how it gets
2006.
there, and how they keep it there. And of course, in order to study those, you will have to fall back on the psychologists, right? And once you have theories, then when once teachers have theories, then they test those theories in the classroom. Those theories don't always work in the classroom. I remember, I don't know if it is this class that I said to you that I was a very disturbing student in class, and I did not mind the punishment. Punishments were fun to me. So in that case, and I never failed a class. I had all A's in math, English, French, whatever the subject was.
Hi.
I had all A's,
So my name
math,
is Miss
whatever it
Campbell or
whatever it was.
Abigail. I
Name
haven't
it.
included it here as
Yeah.
yet, but guys, if you're new here, ensure that you
But
subscribe.
I was a very disturbing
Mm.
student. I disturbed
What is the
everybody. I
total
just
sugar
wanted
production for
attention. Something was wrong.
2006?
And the students in my class, there was nobody who could pull me up. Everybody was backing me up instead.
To the internet total.
So that is just a simple example. So educational psychologists try to improve student learning. So they come up with um, some methods or so on. They put those out as
Mm-hmm.
some keys to help
Mm-hmm.
students learn better. A lot of teachers use those keys. A lot of teachers don't.
Mm-hmm.
Many teachers
Mm-hmm.
one way or the other. It's a topic. And today with complicated, but I thought that yes, Aiden, because information was on it.
And listen, be quiet and listen. That is what teachers do most of the time. They want to hear no noise, just quiet and listen to me. I have the knowledge that you need. You must listen. And so the students sit in classes for long hours, listening, 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 listening. Well, some of them don't. They give trouble like me. But this is the way most of the times classes are conducted. So although there are all of these schools of thought out there, the problem remains the same. The problems are the same. You have behaviors. So the teacher that is a
Graph.
behaviorist is going to observe the behavior and try to find a way to condition the behavior. Okay, so this child is misbehaving, so let me see how I can control this child. So listen to the word, control this child. My
Highest
aim
production
is
rate of
not
sugarcane.
to help this child self regulate. My aim is to control the child's behavior. So then I will give the child what the child likes so that the child can shut up and listen. Or I will give the child what the child likes in order for the child to do his homework and perform the homework. I will give consequences if it's not done. Okay? Punishment. That's a school of thought. That's behaviorism. I see Natalie is hand. Go ahead.
What age group are you referring to right now?
That age group.
Yes, so you're saying that the child is given certain things, so I just need to know what age group are we referring to.
Oh, it's at every age group. I'm saying child but student. Let's change the word child to student. That happens at every level of education. In college or in university, the rewards are many, many, many. Like okay, the honor roll, you have certificates of this and that, and you have all kinds of stuff. Even the teachers themselves, they bring things to the classroom so that to give to students as reward so that the students can listen to them. You can talk, go ahead. The thought comes to you about it. You can
Good
say
morning.
because I want you to think. I want you to think about this. This is what is happening. So you have behaviorism. I was just saying, teacher tries to control the behavior of students. Okay. Remember, it's never the other way around. It's the teacher who is using this on students. It's not the students using it on teacher. It is the teacher using those things to control the students. Okay? Cognitivism, that's another school of thought. So that person who is a cognitivist will examine the mental processes. How does the memory work? How do I enhance the memory of my students? How are we going to recognize or remember those things that they have studied? How do I get their attention? Okay? How do they process information? I mean, those cognitivists will try to examine how information gets into the brain. All right? So those who study this and go by this will use different methods of managing their classrooms. Also, I want to point out that those who are cognitive
Yes, because to
Girls
write out to the
just
clinical
let them.
operation and the character. Hmm.
And for the life of me, I do not understand what kind of past experiences a little baby has as yet, so he or she can construct his own knowledge. Is that biblical? Is that something that God advocates? What does God say about training a child? Did God say that the child needs to construct his own knowledge? All right, I see Natalie's hand.
Yes, you said before that the teacher is the one who excels behaviorism, but don't students or children do that to reward themselves for their own good behavior? So that the students have good students and they are
What?
rewarded as like captain of the classroom, because this is happening in primary school where
But this is
um
what this is true, Natalie. What you're saying is true. The students learn from the adults. So if the adults have something out there that the student wants, the student is going to do everything he or she can to manipulate the teacher. Those are learned behaviors. Natalie, are you there?
yes, 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 I'm hearing you.
Mm-hmm.
Hearing you. I know that students can manipulate teachers,
Yes, they
and
learn it from their parents. They learn to
that's
fear
right.
people and learn. Mm-hmm.
Very, yes, and they come in and they they mean they're very good and they do everything nice with the teacher. The teacher, say yes, student is a good teacher, but sorry,
Yes, and so and it happens also. Students, people behave like this with God as well. You do all kinds of nice things so you can influence God. God is a good God. With God, He can read your heart. You can read the heart, but God can read your heart. He knows when you're just trying to get favors from Him
13.
without anything,
One,
just trying to get favors. All right. So we were talking
2,
about favoritism, and I did say that those who are
3, 4,
positive
5, 6,
also
7, 8, 9, 10,
your
11.
inherit attitudes and methods as well. So we talked about constructivism, and I said that some of you had said some more, but I do not subscribe or think people have to learn truth. Truth is knowable, truth is available, and people have to learn truth as it is. People are not constructing truth. That's not true. People are supposed to be exposed to the truth, learn the truth as it is in its pure
Hi.
state. All right. So this constructing of information of knowledge, that's I don't subscribe to that. Also, I do not believe that babies have past experiences that they can rely on in order to construct knowledge. I don't believe that. I see Simone's hand.
Yeah, yes. So I'm not sure, but because I think with respect to the constructivism, um, I do believe that children, young children, I don't know if you want to go a bit deeper because I think it's hard to detect the baby
Hi,
mind,
guys.
but
Hello. I'm
some
marking
children or
papers
children
right
in
now. I'm on the
general
first. I have 6 to
can
get through. I'm the
based
first
from
of
their
6, so
information
it's a
or
bit
their previous
lengthy because I want to ensure that I
experience.
mark the
That's
papers
where
fairly.
some children experience trauma because of whatever previous bad experiences that they had, and they link some type of their own truth, quote unquote, to that, which is
No, no,
which is
no,
a lie.
I
Two features of sustainable agriculture.
I hope you're getting the difference because there is a difference. All right. Yes, Simone.
Really?
Yes, I was listening to you
Okay.
all the time.
All right. All right. So experiential learning is another one. Learning through direct experience or reflection, of course. This I don't know why this is so important. This matters to everyone. If you're going to experience something, you will reflect on it, and then that's it. So this is all. Sometimes I have to say because parenting with teaching or learning is more often a cycle or confused. Um, or confused persons who are learning to become teachers become when they are faced with those schools of thought. They're confused. They leave the university not being able to make head or take out of these things. All right. Social and contextual learning, all of this is also what happens naturally when you interact with your environment. You're going to learn because the environment is there and you want to learn from it. Your culture is there, you want to learn from it. But the act of segregating those things into schools of thought um, and having them as separate thoughts. All right, so key areas of application. What is key areas of application? Evaluation, reflection,
2,
um,
5, 6, 7, 8,
um,
9, 10, 11,
based
12,
on
13,
your
14, 15.
experience. School of thought. All right. So pioneers of social learning are definitely
15.
Montessori, Montessori. You will see
4,
this
5,
at
6,
those
7, 8, 9,
um,
10, 11, 12,
meetings or
13,
teachers educational teaching meetings that you take out of it.
14,
You will see
15, 16, 17, 18, 19,
so
20,
it's
21, 22,
historical
22, 14,
theory,
5,
social
26,
cultural theory, or cognitive
and
development
something
that
is
says that
30,
um, when
31, 32, 33,
children
34,
acquire
35,
behaviors
36,
through
37,
social
41,
thought,
42.
then their culture acquires
On
strong
this stuff.
foundation. I have often criticized those things way, way, way because it is true
4,
that people learn from their culture
5,
with
6,
your
7,
culture.
8, 9,
What does that
10,
say?
11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16.
So but it is a strong theory. It is a
Let's
theory
check up
that
this grade.
it's not even a nothing. You know what the theory is? The theory that is
They can't tell you I'm just one piece of chicken.
um social um
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 1. Do you understand English? Yes, I
so the
do.
assumptions, the feelings
1,
of suspicion, a supposition. Okay. So now tell
2,
me if
3, 4, 5, 6,
children
seven,
acquiring
8,
behaviors through
9,
social
10, 11, 12,
interaction with their culture and community is a
12 and a
hunch.
half.
No, no. But this is called a
4,
theory. This is like Bible is
5, 6,
theory.
7, 8, 9,
Okay?
10, 11, 12,
So
13,
I just want you
14,
to
15,
just focus
16,
on that a little bit to understand where you are going when you are studying these things. Okay?
6,
All right.
10,
If I just
11, 12,
key
13,
concept,
14,
the zone of
15.
proximal development, you will hear this in your um, well, if you are going to be a teacher, you're going to be faced with this concept of the zone of proximal development. Okay? So for him, it is a distance between what a learner can do independently and what they can achieve with guidance. Now, every mother and father and big sister and big brother at home performs those kinds of interactions with their smaller brothers and sisters or children.
Mm?
Yeah, you're not going to give um uh, you're not going to give a toothpick to a little baby who cannot yet understand that this is dangerous, right? But you have to teach the baby how to use it. Not a toothpick. Let me use how you call that now?
Me want
A
some too.
fork. Okay, let's say a
Yes.
fork.
Me want some rich and nice.
You know, as the child grows, you teach the child. So you won't leave the fork in the child's hand when the child has no control, cannot yet understand that this implement can be dangerous. But you keep giving him the fork with supervision and guidance. And you did not need a theory like this to teach you that. There is a point at which you will let go the fork and the child is going to actually eat without stabbing himself in the eye because he has learned under your guidance. Yes or no? I need to hear from you.
Yes, it's a natural. I think that children that have a natural inherent skill of knowing what to do.
Come and spend 3 days
Yes, some
in
children
South
would have
Africa.
a
I'll
natural,
pay
but
for
most
everything.
children will need to
Send
be
the money for
taught
the
how
trip
to behave.
and everything.
Right.
Yes? Right. And what we are
No, the
saying
must
here,
to come to South Africa
this sounds like a
for a
big
couple days.
concept,
Then we'll
but
pay
it's
for
not.
everything.
I mean, no, it's not really. Joylene, is
Yeah,
this
no.
a big new concept
No, it's not.
that you have to pay money to learn?
No.
Okay. That's my point here. That's why I want to raise your awareness about these
Ah.
things. Don't think that they are so. People have put names on those things so that now you're confused. The zone of proximal development. What in the world is this? What does it mean? How would you call it to make it simple? I mean, how does it happen in life? What do? You assist children in learning. Yes, not true.
Yes.
Okay, Natalie, what's on your?
Yeah, but I mean, the Koski in their time, that was what was going on.
In their time?
A podcast salty.
Yes, it was long time, but over
Yes,
there,
but
right? But
so what
I'm
was
just
going on in its time?
they didn't have technology in those times.
But you don't need
That's
technology, Natalie. Natalie, you don't need technology to see that you just help a child to achieve. That's not a theory.
no, but
That's true.
children learn in different ways. They learn by
Yeah, I'm
observation,
Jamaican.
not just
Um,
being a parent showing them how
guys.
to do things. Because
But
if
of
you
course,
put
there
a
are different
child,
ways.
We say I'm to come on
Right.
South
if you
Africa.
put a child in front of
Mm-mm.
TV, a television, and
We put the
that
PayPal
child
there.
can learn
If
Spanish
you
on
want to
their
send
own,
us then.
and then learn a lot of other things on their own just by watching what is on the TV. And that's the reason why it's very important not to be anything that you're giving a child at the early age. You have to
Mm-mm.
be there observing them and monitoring them. Because nowadays the system that are the children know, the alphas, the Gen alphas, they don't need a lot of persons or parents teaching them. They're learning vastly, and they're learning excessively among other people and with
the technology that the gadget that we have and the technology that we have, they're learning so fast.
However, Natalie, however, there are some things that they do not know because they were not taught. It is not the TV doesn't teach you everything. You can
No, no,
sit there
YouTube
and
blocking up.
learn by just watching. It doesn't. It's not true. You learn by doing. Most of the things you learn by doing them. Okay. So again, I'm saying
That's the
this
name for the
is not
PayPal
a
account,
thing
Evelyn
that is
Miko.
just happening with
That's my
children.
mother's PayPal.
Anyone who needs to
So
learn anything
guys can send
will
there.
have to see the thing
You don't have
happening
to,
and
but you
then
can
practice
if
the
you want
thing
to.
with help or without help until the person can actually do the thing alone. And all I'm saying is this is not
Coming.
I this zone of proximal development is to me something that is yeah, it's true, it's happening. It's not a theory. That's my point. John Williams.
Yes, ma'am. So I agree with Natalie a little bit in that in those days, right? It's basically who sit first and who would make it sound important. You know, they class it as a school of thought, or they class them as a theory. So I came across Bogatsky when I was doing my proposition paper. I didn't find anything useful from him that I could add to the paper, but just reading, I came across it and the historical, cultural framework, or it could be the other way around. And I was saying to myself, but I could have sat and came up with this, but would I be published or got recognition for it? So I get the point in that when I look at a lot of these theories, what they're saying is more or less common sense. It's just that it was worded in such a way, and maybe for that time it was seen as being important or groundbreaking.
That's right. That's my point. That's precisely my point, George. That's my point. Oscar?
Me not go come.
I
I
understand.
don't
Listening
give
to
out
the strength of
my
the conversation, I
number.
think makes it just. I think it helps to remember that as
I'm
far as
on
these
paper
theories and
2.
theories are concerned, it is an individual or group of individuals attempt to make sense of the world around them. But the thing, all they do is observe and document their interpretation of the things that they are seeing. I think there's some usefulness to Vygotsky's
Yes. Yes, go
Vygotsky's
ahead.
zone of proximal development. Because all he's saying is that their children will learn something by themselves. There are some things they'll need a little help with, and there are some things which they will have to wait until they get to a certain level of development before they can take on those things, either by themselves or with assistance from others. And as you have indicated, it is true.
So we are saying that what we are seeing here are not theories. That's my point. They are truth. Okay?
They are, but again, I'm just saying that theories is just an individual's attempt to make sense of the world around
Yeah,
them.
sure. Sure. I'm getting your point. All right. Thank you, Oscar, for sharing that. And so this is the Vygotsky concept. And let's see if we have. Okay. So he also came up with the concept of scaffolding. All right, so well, the MKO as well, more knowledgeable other. I don't know how different that is from the ZPD, but it's there. So let's look. Anyone with a higher skill level or better understanding than the learner, the teacher, the peer, or even technology can assist in raising the person's level. Okay, so but to me, all of this is um com- well,
I've been
I mean,
in
not call
Guyana
it
maybe
common
since you don't
sense,
want to
but
come
it
to
is
South Africa.
obvious.
Of course, you can
Okay,
come to
and somebody
Jamaica
has written it for us to read so
anytime.
that we realize that yeah, those things are actually happening. Okay, scaffolding. If you give support to to the um to the other, so you know better, so you're the more knowledgeable other, and you give support to help somebody else.
support will be gradually removed until you gain mastery, of course. So I'm putting it so that you don't see those things are threatening. They are very common sense theories. Okay. Oh, I see Natalie. Natalie, what do you have?
Sorry to be saying so much things, but
No, don't be sorry. It's your piece.
but even though your theories are common sense, if
Yeah.
somebody don't write it, we won't know.
Oh, but you would have practiced it.
Stop, Abby. I'm here marking some key papers. I finished the first script. Not disappointed, but it could have been better. They got in the.
From knowing that,
Let's see
what
if it
does
will
that
be
change
working
in life
back
for
again.
you?
I think we're back again.
It's just telling me there are other countries and other race that are same thing as I would do. But if I was to
Okay.
compare it with America, I would say there that culture is not doing what I grew up seeing
Okay. So,
as a Jamaican.
okay. So, Natalie, all I'm
So
saying,
so
so
theories
all I'm saying here,
theories are
Natalie,
good.
Natalie,
Yes.
all I'm saying here is that the information you're getting now is not information that was hidden from you. It is information that was always there, that you've been practicing, that has been happening in your life. The only thing that happened is that Vygotsky put some names on these things and have transformed things that are happening into theory. And I'm saying that this is not a theory, because a theory is a supposition, a hunch, it's a what if, it is what really is happening. A theory is a speculation. Those things are not speculation. Those are true. That's what I'm saying to you. And I'm putting it this way to all of you so that um you don't get pushed with these things. If you approach studying these things with that view, those things are really happening. Those are common everyday things. I don't need to be afraid of it. It's not like trigonometry and what else now? Gene editing. Those are different things. This is very common. So don't be afraid of it. In other words, that's all I'm saying. Of course, it has been given a name, but you know that that name can't scare you because you know what it is. You know that it's always happening around you. Natalie, did I make sense now?
Yeah, you're making sense, but I always have a second opinion about it. But I mean, I don't want to hold up the class, so.
No, it's not holding up the class, but everybody needs to understand when they are reading something that is really common sense. They shouldn't be afraid of it and think that, boy, I have to go study this hard. It's not trigonometry. That's my point. It's a very simple thing that is happening every day that somebody has called a theory. All right? So I hope you got that. That's all I'm saying.
Boy, miss, we as people have come through. We have come down. To where
No
we reach
music, mom.
now
No
in
music
in
tonight
this world. We
because
have come through a lot. We come to a point where women couldn't even vote. Women
no
couldn't even
music
work.
tonight.
What does it have to
Women,
do with what we're talking about
right?
now?
I'm just saying, based on Vygotsky and his theory, it has passed on from one generation to another to the point where we may not think that is theory now, but then in his
Oh boy.
time it was
I
theory.
think
think I've lost you because in this time it was still truth. It was not theory. That's the same thing that's happening now. That's what happened in this time. All right, Natalie, I'm going to take John's hand and then I'll come back to you if anything. All right.
Right, yes, ma'am. So the point I want to make to kind of clear things up is not that we're not appreciating
Then
the theory or what was written. But from my point, I do appreciate the fact that someone wrote it and it's there. The point I mean, some things are commonplace and would have naturally been observed or occurred. So, for example, when I say learning from historical or cultural events or culture, learning from your elders basically. In African culture and other cultures, you would have already been learning from historical things because you would have sit with the elders would have explained to you. So I do appreciate the fact that he took the time, wrote about it, gave it a name. But the point I'm making is, if you want to say it was commonplace, common sense, or just common, that's fine. But the point I'm making is, I do appreciate that it was written until it's more or less common.
no, but still put a sugar
More
in
than
there.
less common sense.
All
All right,
right, me.
thank you.
Sugar.
Also, in other words, my last word on this is that don't be afraid of those things when you see them. Just snap back into life. Just look at life going on, and you will remember those things that Vygotsky calls theory. Okay. All right. So he had the MPOs and the scaffolding. And now we take a little look at Bandura, for that is the last thing we do this
With you.
evening. Albert Bandura, no, a Canadian American psychologist, died in 2021. You see, he lived very, very long. So he bridged the gap between behavioral and cognitive psychology, and his theory name is social learning theory.
All right. So back to the paper.
To social cognitive theory. All right, so cognitive and social theory together. So he believes that people learn through observation, imitation, and modeling, even without direct reinforcement. Okay, so again, I'm saying Bandura is, again, like I was talking about, Bandura is not a psychologist that you should be afraid of or thinking that you will forget, because if you understand what he's saying, it is very true. Okay, so once it is true, for me, it's no longer theory. All right, let's move on. So the key concepts are for him observational learning. All right, so you have to have attention. You must notice something is happening. What you saw.
You come here back some of them paper, they give me some graph, you see.
Or the physical ability to perform.
That's it.
Right? Of course, that's what happens naturally.
Have some tea. What a rundown tonight. Come visit me.
If they remember, of course, they have to
May I
remember.
come? May I go?
If they have the physical ability
Right.
to perform what they do, so it will reproduce behavior. That's why little children will hear cussing around them all the time. They grow up to cuss. Or little children will see their parents playing all the time. They grow up to learn to play also. If the children when they were young they observe their parents taking care of their neighbors, then they develop care for the neighborhood as well. If they see their parents spending a lot of money on things that are unnecessary, like unnecessary things, they learn also to be spenders. So
anything that the children will see, observe, they will reproduce. This is why we have to be careful what is happening. I mean, what we do in front of children. Okay, now the last statement here that I have highlighted says the learner must have a reason to imitate, and that is part of Bandura's key concepts. The learner must have a reason to imitate. And here I have a problem because I don't believe this. I don't. So you may believe that in your corner, but I don't. So I am telling you my hang up on this. Okay. Some you can't tell me that a little baby has a reason for cussing. No, he's just cussing because that's what he hears. That's what is modeled in front of him. Okay? And when it says that it's often reward influenced by reward or punishment, well, if the child is cussing and he is punished for cussing, the child will stop cussing. But it doesn't mean that the child forgets about cussing. Alright? So you can keep that in your back book and think about it. Alright, so Bandura's key concepts: self-efficacy, individual beliefs in their own capacity to succeed or capability to succeed in specific situations. So when children observe and practice what they see, if the things, whatever the things are, whether they are good or bad, the child will develop efficacy at doing those things. Okay, and they will, they grow up to believe that they can.
What
do
are you
those
watching
things.
making? No, I want to be picking them people me a mark.
Now,
So
this
then if
has
you
a
draw
lot
one
of
terrace,
this is a good thing to remember
terrace in
as a teacher
ecosystem,
in the classroom.
you want to see what the engineer give me.
Whatever the children see you do, and if you practice what you do, well, what you are showing them must be something that we should practice. Alright? Reciprocal determinism, the idea that behavior and the feelings, your feelings, whatever you are thinking about, and the environment all influence each other in a continuous loop. In other words, what's happening in your environment, what you think about your feelings, all of those things influence each other in order to, help you produce a behavior. Alright? So you can read about the Bobo doll study. And that is an experience where the child demonstrated aggressive behavior observed in adults. As a child, I think, really hit that door like crazy. Alright, so a comparison between the two. Both emphasize social context. You will notice that Vygotsky and Bandura, they are social theorists, social learning theorists. Alright? Both believe in interaction with others. Alright? And they believe that interactions are critical in learning. And their differences, obviously, is that one is focused on cognitive growth, that's Vygotsky, through language and culture, and the other one is focused on behavioral change through observation and modeling. Alright? So that is for that comparison.
No, sir.
So in the classroom, Vygotsky will cause the teacher to allow students to work together because he believes that the zone of proximal development will be reached if one student helps
Mm-mm.
the other.
That's a black spot
So
blue.
sometimes
That's
it
my
involves
mole. I have one here and I
um,
have one here.
something that,
And I have one here.
I mean, we can apply
It's my
from the theory of
mole.
psychology. So once you are now, okay, so modeling positive behaviors, right, helps students develop problem solving skills, and then building student confidence, self efficacy through goals that they are able to achieve. All right. So I'm going to ease with the mic and branching off for behaviors. Okay, so that's it. I am going to put this PowerPoint in uh, okay, so people, I think I have said enough to say. Do you have anything else to add? Is there something that you would love um, outcome in this presentation?
Yeah, I'd like to add something.
Yes, who's that? Natalie, remember to put up your hand so that I can.
Oh, yeah, let me put my hand up. There it
No,
goes.
but it's okay.
There it goes.
All right, anybody else who wants to say something before we close off? Please put up your hand and I will recognize you, okay? So, Natalie, go ahead.
Yes. It's on velocity. He was a Russian, so his work wasn't just in English at that time because he been there in 1924, around that time in the 1920s. That's
Okay.
before
Yeah, yeah.
the World War. So most so his theory could not be circulated around because the main language was English at the time, and during that time, women didn't go to university and was appreciated. So most of the persons who were in the classroom teaching were men. My 2 cents is that even though his work were done decades, centuries ago, we're still looking at them to see if they still work now in the classroom. And we know that some of these theories don't work based on their time of doing things. It's since recently we start saying that we should be more student centered. Before then, it was more teacher centered and in the classroom, and it's something that keeps on changing. And learning changes,
Four,
teaching changes
five,
based on
6, 7,
the
8, 9,
learners
10, 11,
and
12,
of course
13,
to
14, 15,
advance
16.
technology. And with technology, people are learning much more than recently. My aunt used to tell me that she was telling me that in her time they didn't have crayons. They had these black things. What she said it is again? Some thing that they used to color with, but it was charcoal. She said. She
Yeah.
said in the classroom, it's charcoal they use and make figures and draw and
Yeah.
so forth. And you couldn't bring home the charcoal. You had to keep it in the classroom so the teacher take it from you
Yeah.
for the next time. And now
Okay.
children are using colored crayons. Because I said, didn't they have crayons in the classroom? And she said, no, school couldn't afford crayons.
Okay.
It was a commodity then to have crayons under the richer folks could afford crayons. So that's what I'm just saying is that, you know, with time things evolve
Uh, now, I think like a question that that in this class, still trying to understand was the first question that you posed. Well, one of the questions that you posed, which
Sure,
is
me go and see you in
having
person that
children
long.
at the same
Really?
age in the
You think so?
classroom is
How?
wrong. Um, I'd like to. Is like that a
How?
theory or is that a question that you're asking us to think about or
Yeah, it was a question I was asking you to think about. What do you think? It's not a theory, it's happening. Children of the same age are in the classroom. Remember what the theory is. Okay, so children of the same age are in the classroom. They are sometimes more than 40 with the same, let's say, same age range in the classroom, right? And it's a big headache for the teachers most of the time because, in my estimation, it's wrong. It's not right.
so is it that having too many is it wrong or is it that just having them at the same age is what is wrong?
Both. Too many of them is wrong, and having them there at the same age range is wrong because it is not good for the student. Now, I'm not talking about teacher now. Okay, teacher
Right,
tired,
right.
teacher can manage, teacher, one second, teacher cannot manage, teacher is tired. Okay, and put that aside. It is wrong for the student.
You know what?
They cannot go any higher or any higher than where their peers are. They have to stay there because there's nobody in the classroom for them to hire, only the teacher, and the teacher cannot be um, there for every last one of them. It's not possible. In the classroom, 6 years old and 12 years old and 15 years old, for example, then there will be a fast, the 6-year-old and the 12-year-old will grow much faster in terms of their cognitive development because of where the other two already are. I'm not saying there should only be three in the classroom. That would be marvelous if there were just three in the classroom. But I'm not saying that. I'm saying that there are too many students in the classroom at the same age, in the same age range. Yeah.
I just like amazed by it because like that's what we have come to see and if it was so
Yes. Yes.
why do we
Mm-hmm.
stick to it? So it's just that I'm reading on that now.
Yes, you need to go back and read the history of how the Prussian, how America adopted the Prussian way of teaching. You need to go back into history again. I think you will be amazed to see what has become of education because of limitation. People went to other places and saw what was going on, and the sequence of war and all of those things, and the fact that they wanted industrialization, and they wanted like population that was a certain way, that behaved a certain way, and so on. They went to the schools, the
As you
primary
think it's
schools
not possible
across
for
the
me now.
children, change, like create something else. You need to go back and read about those things. I can tell you here on a paper. One day I'm going to give you a book. I'm going to put the name of a book there. Actually, I could put it there right now. I'm going to type it. If you find it, you can you can Google it. It's called The Desperate Dumbing Down Management.
Here's the pen that I was using before this one.
And how do you write dumbing? Dumbing down.
Where did Kitty come from?
You can make whatever you want of it, but
Mm,
this is not something that I want to come and put here because it's a habit.
found it.
Okay, you can read it. You can read it. It will.
8,
That's not the
9,
same.
10, 11,
It's not the
12.
same. It's not the one that you shared with us, that you just shared. The one that you were using now is not. You shared it with us before. Right.
Ouch. Thursday. Crap.
I don't hear how you said that
Night, everybody.
Can I ask a quick question about the assignment? The last time about the deadline being um February 3rd, 12 a.m. So I thought it was like throughout the day. Is the submission during the cutoff time, would that be
Guys, pardon me, didn't mean to distract you. That's okay. I'm gonna be on for the next 7 minutes, and then I'm gonna come off at that point. Mm. Four, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 4, 6. 18, 19. Alright, guys, this is where I'm going to end the live for tonight. Talk to you guys later.